Hello, hello, and welcome, beautiful souls, soul tribe, friends and family, Venus lovers. So glad to have all of you guys here. Actually, I think it's just me right now, but that's okay. All right, let's see. Let's see. We have a lot to talk about today, you guys. I mean, it is just amazing the amount of data we have to go over right now. All right. All right, I think I'm live now. Okay. Hello, beautiful souls. Namaste, soul tribe, friends and family, Venus lovers. I have a lot to talk to you guys about today. Um, so as you know, Saturn is going to turn retrograde on the 29th, which is this weekend. And then Neptune will do that just a few days later on the 2nd. So these are kind of big, happening within 3 days of one another. I really want to dive deep into that with you guys, go through your houses with it as well. Um, but there's also some other things we need to talk about too. Number one, the moon is going to go over the eclipse point for the third time since the solar eclipse in April. So that's going to bring up some themes, especially since everything transited over both Saturn and Neptune prior to the eclipse. This might be relevant. There might be some themes coming up from the eclipse for you. Not as strong or as powerful, but you might feel some things. Mercury is going to enter Cancer. And it's my Venus return coming up this weekend. So I thought we'd kind of dive into all of that. I'll go over the retrogrades. We'll go through the houses. And if you guys have any questions, you can always just type it in the chat because I can see y'all up here. So cool. Yeah. So Saturn and Neptune going retrograde. I mean, the space between them is actually getting closer and closer together because Saturn is a faster mover. But now that they're both retrograde, Saturn's going to move away faster and faster. So it'll be interesting to see how that energy feels. And I really think we're going to be revisiting some themes that we've had to deal with over the last 6 months with the eclipse kind of right in the middle of it. So before I jump in, feel free to say hello in the chat and I'll shout you out if you want to. Feel free to ask me any questions as I'm going. I will check in. A couple of announcements. Last night we did the Neptune class. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Maria Schumacher was there, and we had just the most profound, deep, and lovely discussion of Neptune as we took it through the zodiac. I mean, it was just fantastic. So, Dr. Walker's here. Sylvia Loves the Most High is here. Thank you for coming, you guys. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I might go for a little while tonight, maybe about an hour or so, maybe less. I don't know. We'll see what kind of tangents I get off on. The other thing I wanted to draw y'all's attention to was the live I did last Friday with Jeffrey Comke. He's a wealth strategist, and we talked astrology and wealth, and it was pretty cool because it we were planning on doing this talk for months now. It's just with the new year and my switch of job, that didn't work out. And then when I was ready, his father passed away, and so we've been just kind of missing each other. And we finally got it together, and it coincided with that big, abundant, beautiful, generous Jupiter energy when we did that class. And then, of course, the business and financial astrology course that enrollment is open now. The course container is available for you to go in and grab all the resource documents right now. And on the 7th, I'm actually going to put the pre-recorded modules in there. I'm going to kind of drip them to you guys, maybe give you like 3 or 4 a week. On the 20th, we're going to meet and we're going to talk about the business aspect of astrology. It'll be a live Q&A. It's a Saturday morning. And then the next set of modules will be given to you, and that's going to be the personal assessment. And then the last time we meet will be on the 8th of August. And in that Q&A, we'll talk about anything and everything if you want to. We'll go 3 or 4 hours if you want to. I will also be available from the 7th, basically from now till the course is over by email. So if you have any questions as you're studying, just email me and I'll get to you within a day or two. So I think it's a really good deal for what you got. There's tuition plans on there. So if you want to, kind of pay as you go over the month, that's available too. And that link's down there below. So I just wanted to give you guys the scoop on that, how that's going, the classwork and everything. It's really wonderful. And then summer session part 2, those links will be coming out shortly, probably within 3 weeks, I think. Don Bird of Freedom Through Astrology is going to be teaching that course. So we're real excited to have him on board and doing that. So yeah, everything's just going really good. We're having a good time and, just kind of, spreading a modern astrology that is usable, that you can go in, you can really learn some techniques that are helpful to you. And then also the spiritual side of it and just getting into the archetypes. It's really, really nice. That class was just fantastic last night. Yeah, so let's see. So all of that, yeah, I think those are my only announcements. So you guys are free from announcements for a little bit. What I want to do real quick is I want to talk about the next few days. So this will be in a day or two when all this energy starts that we're going to talk about. Today's the 25th. So yeah, on the 27th or so is kind of the time frame we're looking at. So I thought we'd look at space real quick. And let me share my screen. Yeah, Dr. Walker was in the Neptune class. She enjoys my classes. I enjoy having her there too. She will listen and then have this very deep, profound insight, which I very much enjoy. Let's see, what was I going to? Oh, we're going to open space. So we're going to open this right here. So I love to look at the solar system because we're going to be talking about retrograde planets here. And I think it's a good opportunity to see what does that actually mean? Because I mean, hopefully all of you know this, but some people actually don't. The planets do not go backwards in the sky when they go retrograde, okay? What happens is they go on Earth's side of the solar system. So if you were to play this, you can see that the planets move around and they stay in their unique orbits. This is going to be a Mercury retrograde when Mercury moves in front of the Earth. So what's happening with Saturn in retrograde and Neptune in retrograde, they're on our side of the sun. Do you see that? So they're much, much closer. Saturn would be all the way over here, and Neptune would be all the way over here, and Earth would be on the other side of the sun. This looks like a small distance because of these vast distances, but this is actually 93 million miles, the distance from the sun to the Earth. So I think it's a good idea to kind of know where you are in space. That always helps. It kind of gives you a higher perspective, right? And then what I also love to do is just kind of take a look at the sky itself, with this wonderful program called Stellarium. You put the landscape in and you can see the constellations in the sky. You can turn the sky around and look for, anything that you want to see. You can adjust the time so you can put the important stuff in the sky, right? So there's Saturn right between Aquarius and Pisces, about to go retrograde back into Aquarius for a little bit. There's the moon on the Eclipse Point, which we're going to talk about. Yeah, so this is just a great program. So you can look around, look at the sky. You can take the landscape out, zoom out. You can see the galactic ecliptic here, and then you can see the solar system ecliptic here with Cancer, Mercury, Sun, Venus are all in Gemini over here, and then Jupiter's in Taurus. So that's what we're looking at. One of the things that's going on right now is what's called the Eclipse Point, or actually this will be on the 29th. So let me, what I did here is we're going to use Prometheus and we're going to use it live. I don't have like images. We're going to actually just play with the wheel a little bit because this is part of my process, y'all. This is what I do. And so I want to share with you how you can do this. If you have this particular software, this is really nice. You go ahead and you open your chart or create a chart, and then you pick your parameters, and then you can animate it. So that's really nice because what you can do is you can go by years, months, days, hours, minutes, and seconds. It's just really a nice tool to move through space and to see what things are doing. And the spot I moved to for this particular weekend coming up, when Saturn goes retrograde, and then 3 days later, Neptune goes retrograde, is this moon over here at 29 degrees Pisces. This is where the eclipse occurred back in April. And a lot of astrologers will gloss over this, but this is an actual fact. You can have what's called eclipse events 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months out from an eclipse. And the reason that works is not because of woo-woo science. It's because there are resonances that oscillate at certain frequencies that repeat themselves in very predictable patterns. And so whenever the moon hits that 29 degrees Pisces, there might be some themes from that eclipse coming up for you. Now, it all depends on what house it's in. But think of like space-time and astrological events like this as like a four-dimensional space. So everything is all at once, everything is right there. And so when an event happens, it perturbs the energy a little bit and it vibrates out forward and backward in time. So what that means is, y'all, if you are looking at the eclipses that are coming up this fall in October and September, and you see where the moon and the sun are, you note those degrees, and then you watch where the moon goes over those degrees in the 2 or 3 months before, you might get an idea of what you're going to be dealing with this next eclipse. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there. I think that's whenever this comes once a month, I'm going to kind of bring this up, because what I might do next month is see where those eclipses occur and then see where that lunar critical degree is so that we can work with it. So anyway, that's that. Thing one I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so let's look at the chart again, because here's some of the themes that could come up. So remember all the collective wounding, seeing others' wounds, integrating the collective wounds, maybe even the dark side of those wounds. That energy might be coming up for some people. It just depends on what house it's in. This point, the moon, when it's on this point, actually squares onto Venus and Mercury. So it kind of, takes that thinking brain, the sensation of thinking. What are those messages that we're sensing with both hemispheres of our brain? Is it clear? Are we getting answers we don't want? And real quick, I'm just gonna. There's a video I want you guys to look up and watch, because it ties into this in a broader theme. I don't know if any of you guys know who Steven Greer is, Dr. Steven Greer. He is part of the disclosure movement. And this particular podcast came out yesterday and has over 1.2 million views right now. And what Dr. Greer has done is he has published an archive of whistleblower accounts, secret state documents, international documents that describe technology that we have had since the early 20th century, 1920s, 1930s, that is on the same level as like free energy, anti-gravity, teleportation, stuff like that. Things that can like literally end poverty and hunger, free us from the debt slave society that we live in. And it's just stunning, the amount of data and the amount of research. And this man's been doing this for 30 years. He's not a quack. He's not crazy. He used to be a ER trauma doctor. And he has been working within and without and around the government. He's got a team of people around him. There are many people that are currently in service that are, according to this podcast, are kind of fed up with the black ops, everything that's been going on to stifle this kind of technology. So I really want you to watch it. The link is in this description. It has nothing to do with astrology, but what it has to do is with this new age that we are due. We've been due for a long time, but for some reason it got suppressed. And I just want you, this is something that's very close to my heart, because I feel like we are very capable of these technologies and that we do already have them. And this just was a wonderful synchronicity for me to watch this. So I wanted to share that with y'all before they erase the video. I mean, I don't know if they will, because I feel like there's a lot of this kind of energy going on right now out there in the video land, if you look hard enough. So anyway, I will come up with that tangent and leave that alone, but I do want y'all to see that video. Let's see what's next in our topics. Oh yeah, this. Oh my gosh, you guys. How's everybody doing? How does that feel? The energy, you guys feeling good? Does this image bring up anything for you at all? This is Venus conjunct the star Sirius. Okay. The star Sirius was very important in Egyptian culture, history, myth, lore, religion, because when the sun would rise after the star Sirius, so you'd see, but let me actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to turn this wheel. I'm going to show you what I mean. We're going to back the sun up. So what's going to happen In just a few weeks, the sun is going to pass over the star Sirius, and what we'll see in the morning is the heliacal rising of Sirius. And this marked the beginning of the flood season, the Nile River Delta. So it was a season of fertility, kind of replanting, getting everything ready for the water. So this is going to be a very big time coming up. And then what will also happen simultaneously, let's do days now because I want you to see this, is that actually, let me put her in the evening because we're also going to see Venus, the evening star, very, very soon. So this is the sun right there setting on the horizon. Look, there is Venus right there. You can't see her right now today or this weekend, but in about 2 weeks, we're just going to go forward a little bit and see what that looks like. When she's fully separated, maybe right around here, maybe that third week in July, which corresponds to, this is going to blow your mind. Are you ready for this? I'll go over it again, but it corresponds to the heliacal rising of star Sirius. So here's what we're going to get, right? So the end of July, this Venus and Sirius energy that starts with a conjunction this weekend, this is what we're going to get. We're going to get them separating, but you're going to see Venus as the evening star in the western sky. And then if you get up before dawn, you're going to see the heliacal rising of the star Sirius, these two bright, beautiful objects. It's going to be absolutely stunning. Like, the nights are already really short, but these are the kind of nights where you sleep only a little bit because you want to get up early enough to see this beautiful phenomenon and just kind of take in all of that. Yeah, I know. Hey, so I'm showing you the chart because I want you to see what's happening right here. Do you see here? Let me get out my pen. This is star Sirius right here. Okay, and this is about a month from now. And what you get in the morning is the heliacal rising of star Sirius, and then in the evening, you're going to get the evening star Venus visible. And the reason I'm talking about both of them like this a month from now is because they are going to be conjunct this weekend. So that's why I mentioned that. So here is the evening star Venus right here. Let me get the pen out again. Am I making sense? I hope I am. Okay, good. You guys are getting it. Okay, good. Perfect. Yeah. So spectacular views in the sky coming up. I wanted to just get you guys ready for that because that's going to be really beautiful. I love to take pictures of it. My crazy old 3-year-old iPad takes the most amazing pictures of Venus and the stars. So that's coming. But when you get Venus and Sirius conjunct together, let's go back. Let me clear out these little drawings. And let's go back to that day, the 29th, which is where we're kind of springboarding from, which is where the retrogrades are starting. We'll go right here. This is Venus and Sirius conjunct right here. See my mouse? So this energy, I got this from astrologyking.com. He's a tropical astrologer, but he does like to read the stars, and I love it because he has all sorts of sources and a very nice way of putting it together. And basically you get ease, comfort, luxury, extravagance, and gain by inheritance if you have this in your chart. The positive energy is that the native radiates a charm of manner or appearance, regardless of their station in life. These natives often prefer a life of ease and comfort. It has a shadow side too, though. Venus was Sirius. So one might become resentful over fancied wrongs, or in some instances, whatever they consider an affront. These natives entertain strong opinions, ideas about people and conditions. So turbulence and self-destruction are possible. So interesting, very interesting connection there. I happen to have a Venus conjunct star Sirius in my chart. We're going to look at that with my Venus return because that's coming up for me this weekend as well. Wonderful Venus energy. So yeah, Venus and Gemini in general, guys, this energy is like mental sensation, right? Because it's Mercury's home. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, but Venus attains wisdom through sensation, through experience of the senses. So I almost get a sense of this feels like, when you're talking with someone that you feel really good in the conversation, or something gets downloaded really quick and you get those spirit tingles or the glimmers. Anybody ever feel those? I feel them all the time sometimes. I recently talked to Lotus, Blossom with Lotus, and we did a little chart exchange. And God, every time we would get on a good vibe, like we were both feeling it. It was really, really amazing. And so for me, that's how Venus gains that wisdom, because it's like you can feel the wisdom coming into the body, and you're able to articulate it better. So the shadow side of this, though, of Venus and Gemini, is this really talkative and opinionated, like ego. Like there's I have like a Chiron wound associated with like Venus and Gemini, and like it's there. I can hear it. So it's almost like I'm talking to myself. No, I'm not. Be nice, that kind of thing. So that can be there too, especially like if you're really tired, or if you're worn out, or you haven't honored your body and how it feels. That little shadow ego can start talking. This energy is trying to Saturn, which is stationing retrograde. So it's a nice long energy right here. Saturn, you can see right at the cusp of Pisces and Aquarius. And in some systems, I think in the international astronomical boundaries, Saturn is in Pisces right now. And definitely in tropical, he's in Pisces. But whether you study tropical or constellational astrology, Saturn is still going to go retrograde, and he's still going to be in this part of the sky right here. So Venus trine Saturn's nice because it warms up Saturn a little bit. It kind of gives a compassionate teacher energy to Saturn, and Saturn's about to go retrograde. I'm going to get into this in a little bit when I go through two more things. We'll talk about the retrograde, what that might mean, but yeah, that's a real nice energy. Venus is squaring the nodes right now, though, too. So conjunct Sirius, squaring the nodes. This is about destiny. This is about evolutionary energy. This is about what we're supposed to be doing. Maybe the downloads come in, you get the glimmers, or you get the ego talking to you, and you have to you're pulled from one direction to another. So there's a lot of, I don't know, maybe duality in this energy, with the nodes pulling you from where you've been to where you're going, and the Gemini being its polarity as well. So Gemini, pulls you one way or the other. So we have, and then on top of a T-square. So what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Does it feel good in your body? If it doesn't, maybe you shouldn't be doing it. I don't know. Maybe that's what that means. All right, let's see. Let's see. How's everybody doing in the chat? Love gave me heart. That was nice. Thank you. I love hearts. I had the best day. I did a couple readings today. I was outside in nature, sat with spirit by some water. It was really, really good. And then had a wonderful dinner. I'm planning a trip to Jamaica in May or June of next year. It'll be our wedding anniversary. We love to go to fun places. So we've been talking about that all day. So it's been a really nice day. And then to come on here with you guys, my buddies, my astrological vagabonds. You'll also notice on this chart, you guys, that our friend Mercury has quickly just blown through Gemini and is now entering Cancer. So this is nice energy. This is compassionate communication, right? I mean, this is just, speaking from the heart, really nurturing when you speak to someone. Could also mean like listening, so feeling what people are saying to you, and really sitting with that emotional aspect of it. It could also mean like deep thoughts too, because Cancer's like the deep inside of you. So deep thoughts, compassionate communication, could also be deep truths too, truths, soul communications, channeling the ancestors, all that kind of energy can go with the Mercury in Cancer. Mercury's going to be opposing Pluto for the next little bit. This is a purging energy. This is, but in a nice tender way, right? Because it's Cancer. So maybe some truths are going to come out. Oh, they definitely will, opposing Pluto. And we're going to have to decide how we feel about them. Like, okay, here's that truth, here's that transmission. How do we feel about it? And we're going to have to weigh that with the ultimate truth, and with the wonderful transformation energy that Pluto can provide. Sextiling Uranus, that's also nice. Let's see. So we're opposing Pluto, sextiling Uranus. And then, by the way, guys, this trine here between Uranus and Pluto, that's going to last for a good little while. That's a nice energy. It could also be erratic transformation, unexpected transformation. So yeah, be ready for the unexpected. As these planets all start moving retrograde, it's they're going to be on our side. They're our side of the sun, so they want to help us. So it's a good time to kind of take those themes from these planets and go inward and check in. I think Uranus will go retrograde. I want to say October. I can't remember. But yeah, so this sextile, this is like the cosmic antenna, which is Uranus, kind of out there at the edge of the solar system, hanging out with Neptune and Pluto, getting the cosmic vibes, the astrologer, right? In sextile with the compassionate communicator, the channeler. So a lot of us might be getting some nice vibes from the cosmic, some energetic channelings that really help propel humanity. And like, I feel like the transmission that I got from that podcast with Dr. Steven Greer is so much like this energy. It's like Uranus sextiling Mercury in an energy of compassionate communication. I mean, like, I come to tears when I think about there's 3 billion people on Earth that don't have electricity. I mean, what the fudge? Doesn't that, like, I don't know, make your heart hurt a little bit? And then the fact that governments and corporations have suppressed and or are using these energies to manipulate and control us. I don't know. Maybe those are the truths that need to come out. I feel like I have a little bit more of a message tonight. Mercury is in a grand trine with Lilith and Neptune, so that's super nice. That's that instinctual Libra is balance. So that instinctual harmony and balance that the Earth is supposed to be in right now, but it isn't, because we've been suppressed evolutionarily, and Lilith knows that, and she's not putting up with it. And we're getting messages both from the cosmic, from the spiritual, urging us towards our universal destiny of love and oneness. I think free energy could do that. All right, let's talk about something fun. Okay, let's see. Did I do it? I did it in here. Let me clear these bubbles. How's everybody doing? Are you guys feeling what I'm feeling when you think about this? Or am I just on a soapbox? Oh. All right, so that was Venus and Sirius, Mercury and Cancer. Let's talk about this Venus return for me. So I always love it when these sort of little synchronicities pop up when you're going through things. Sometimes I don't even look at my own astrology because I'm so busy helping you guys that I forget to look for myself. But then when I have some like strange emotions or strange thoughts or whatever, I'll look and I'll be like, okay, that makes total sense. So here we are. This is June 29th. So this is this weekend, the weekend we've been talking about. Look at that. Venus over Venus, which is all, in star Sirius with Saturn and Lilith conjunct. So Venus is over all this energy for me. And then I'm also having like a little Mercury return kind of in the same position. So what would be even more perfect, right, is if I was born a little earlier, right? Like on the 29th of January or June instead of the 4th of August. But so the sun is kind of mirroring that. It's kind of reflecting this energy back to itself almost. And it's entwining, the Venus and Mercury, the Saturn trine Saturn energy, just a lot of really nice synchronicities coming together, a sense of purpose, a sense of focus as well. So this is what's going on for me, and it's really all coming together. I'm actually going to be quite busy the next few weeks. I have a lot of work I have to do at the hospital. But I'll be in and out every other day. I'll be posting. I might have a video or two that's recorded, but this will be my last live maybe for like 2 weeks, just to give myself a breather and get through all those shifts I got to do. So at any rate, that is my Venus return. I just think that's so fantastic. I just have some really nice energy coming, and I'm going to be in the flow, in the service and the work that I do, delivering the star seeds for the next couple of weeks. So that's that. All right. Hey, you guys, you know what? If you like this video, do me a favor, just hit the thumbs up button, please. It helps the algorithm. You know, everybody says you got to tell you guys to do that because everybody forgets. I forget too when I watch, but it does help. So if you watch a video and you like it anywhere, you know, especially mine, just hit the thumbs up button. You can also, whenever you want to, hit the notify bell on the channel. And whenever I go live or whenever a video drops, you'll get notified right away and you can watch it. And then if you're lurking, please subscribe. All right. Let's talk about the main event. Saturn and Neptune going retrograde. This is what we all came for, right? This is what we're here for. And we'll go through the houses. I am going to actually post an article. Do you guys know where your Saturns and your Neptunes are in your chart? More importantly, do you know what house Saturn and Neptune, did I say Uranus? Saturn and Neptune are right now, what house they're in for you right now? Because they're right there, you know, right next to each other, kind of Pisces, Aquarius energy. And if you can see where Pisces energy, Pisces, Aquarius energy is in your chart, what house that is, this will be where the retrograde affects you. Okay? Because they're going to retrograde a little bit in that house and then they're going to go back forward. So you got a little forward motion the last few months. Then you're going to get some backwards motion, and this is where you want to look. You may already kind of have an idea of what the themes have been, but if you know the house, then you can use this. So even if they're in separate houses, you can still use what I'm going to read for you guys. Let's just hit the energy up a little bit and see what this feels like too, because Saturn's going to go retrograde. Do y'all want to see a chart? Or yeah, let me show you a chart. Actually, let's go into this guy. Chart. Saturn in the 12th. Okay, cool. We'll hit that. I don't want to edit designer. I want to open that. There we go. I don't know why that opened. Okay. Oh, yeah, this is all we need. This is good right here. So this is the 29th. We're going to animate this chart. And then you can see just a few days later, Neptune's joining in the action. So this is real quick. This retrograde energy is going to start hitting us and taking effect within a week or two. And it's all happening this weekend. So on the 29th, Saturn will begin its retrograde portion of its cycle on June 29th. It will stay that way until November 15th. Guys, this is not a big deal. This happens every year for 4.5 months. So it's just a new time. It's a new shift. And I'm just trying to help y'all get ready for it. Neptune's going to be retrograde from July 2nd to December 7th. This is also a yearly thing. I mean, half the people in the world have retrograde Saturns and retrograde Neptunes. But with both of these planets beginning their month-long retrograde journey within days of each other, I really feel like this is going to be a big shift in the mood of our collective energies. So we're going to dive into both these placements and the polarities of both. And as we looked at the moving planets in the solar system, you guys know that these are not actually moving backwards. We're just moving faster, and they're when you move faster than something, it looks like it's moving backwards. And that's basically what we're looking at. So Saturn attains enlightenment, right, guys, by building his own prisons. Conscious and unconscious decisions and patterns will mold and shape the reality that we experience. This is Saturn. This is the key word. This is what you say when you see Saturn. So mastering Saturn energy is like the key to manifesting the life that you desire. You have to face those things that you've manifested that you do not like, understand why and how you manifested them, and don't do that anymore. Do something better, do something more productive, do something different. So, because Saturn really wants you to thrive. Saturn, to me, Saturn's greatest wish is that you actually learn the powers of self-control and responsibility before your time is up, before it's time to go. Saturn energy can feel very fearful, very heavy. All of the sort of I have to stuff in life, all of that's kind of charged with Saturn energy. And making matters even more like dreary and glum, Saturn never really smiles at you when you've done a good job, um, like a stern headmaster kind of catalyzing your growth and wisdom. Saturn demands that you act with integrity and honor as you ruefully watch the children playing outside through the window, so that's kind of the heavy energy that Saturn can sometimes bring us. But that's before we've realized that we've been doing unconscious decisions. Once we realize that we have done that, once we own those decisions, we are no longer a victim of our own prisons. We can build the most beautiful prison we want to live in if we choose. And that's really the power of Saturn. Now, Saturn is going to go back into the energy of Aquarius, just dipping the toe in Pisces, okay? And so we have an incredible opportunity to like revisit what Saturn's general theme in Aquarius has been. Have we been making conscious decisions that sort of resonate with Aquarian themes? To me, having like free energy and anti-gravity is very Aquarian, and it's very practical Aquarian. It's like Saturn bringing in the material manifestation of this amazing energy. And or do we react unconsciously to the unconscious decisions and inadvertently create a life we hate? So it's a good time to review that, because the funny thing about Saturn retrograde is instead of that feeling that intense pressure, that crushing that he often gives to us, there's almost a little bit of breathing room here. So it's a chance to like sort of take a deep breath, and reevaluate and go, yeah, this was not a good decision. I'm not doing that anymore. This is a great decision. I'm going to keep doing this. So really good. I hope you guys have joined the Fellowship of 13 Signs. If you haven't, I think most of you are that are on right now. But for anybody that watches later, there's a link down below. Please join the Fellowship of 13 Signs. I make all my class announcements and video announcements and articles. They go right up there in that. We have a couple people that post every day, some really beautiful information. So please join there if you're not. Aquarius energy, on the positive note for Saturn, is rarely emotional, right? It's almost like it knows the future. And with that knowing comes an ambivalence to sort of like the daily trivial matters and the urgency that some in the greater collective seem to have, like, oh, we have to look at this. We have to focus at this. We have to buy this. We have to sell this. The compassion, though, in Aquarius actually comes through the love of the collective and the visions of a golden age of humanity. I wrote this before I saw that video. Okay, guys. So this is all kind of like pulling together for me that we really need to revisit these themes. It's almost something I feel like I need to go to Washington and take on as a mission. The practicality and focus of Saturn energy, you get this coalescing of collective energy around a common goal. And if more people knew about this podcast and what this man's been doing, I think we could actually change things. And I think they're already changing anyway. It's like inevitable. And it's like a unity of future-minded souls with a singular purpose. Now, the dark side of Aquarian energy, guys, is state or government control of the collective, right? This is Saturn and Aquarius controlling the collective, and it can manifest as conforming to the will of the powerful. I swear to God, I wrote this before I saw the video. I'm not, it was just so crazy synchronistic. Trusting the science, okay? AI, artificial intelligence, doing our work for us. Censorship, propaganda, all of that can be associated with the Aquarian Saturn energy trying to control our collective. So Saturn trines on Venus and Mercury. So this can be a nice energy for that Cancer theme. Actually, you know what? I should go back to the date that we're talking about, because I feel like we're in July 7th. Yeah. Well, that's okay, because Venus is going to move into Cancer on the 6th. And so the Cancerian themes are going to start popping up as well for us. And so we've already talked about how that's a really nice flow of energy. Neptune. Let's talk about Neptune for a second. We had a nice Neptune class, didn't we, guys? Oh my gosh, that was so cool. For those of you that join the live, we do a little grounding energy work before we start the class. So we create kind of this like energetic circle that's like protected and safe for learning and exploring, and kind of leaving out all the preconceived notions and just focusing on that particular thing. And it was really really beautiful, especially when Maria did her part of it, and then we hit record, and then you guys get the modules. So um, Neptune attains enlightenment through all that's possible. That's what I always say about Neptune. That's sort of the key phrase to get started on that. He's considered like, or she now, is considered the higher octave of the Venus principle. Neptune is our cosmic shaman of the zodiac. Neptune in our natal chart reveals imagination, empathy, and intuition. And these are the gifts that we're born with as creator spirits, as fractals of the one here in this physical plane. On a collective level, it shapes the spirituality and the imagination of a generation. One of the gifts that Neptune does not offer, in my opinion, is discernment. And it's due to the boundless nature that anything and everything is actually okay to express, to reveal, to experience, including illusions. So in a transcendent state, truth and lie become one after all is said and done. Altered states, out-of-body experiences, and near-death energy, they're all in the misty realms of this Neptune energy. Neptune rules Pisces and is going to complete her transit of Pisces in 2040. And on 7/2, will turn retrograde and reverse course. So this time frame, these next 5 months, synchronicities and visions from the past 7 months, when Neptune was in direct motion through this space, all through that eclipse period, when all those personal planets were moving through there, what you're going to find is that things are going to start clicking into place for you on a mental, spiritual plane. So like the puzzle pieces begin to take shape. The boundaries will change and merge within these greater realizations. Where Saturn clamps us down, goes retrograde, we can breathe a little. Neptune keeps us in a fog and then goes retrograde, and the veil is lifted. All right, so things are going to start clicking into place. You're going to be able to start seeing the path forward a little bit easier when Neptune's in retrograde. The shadow of this energy could manifest as despair of solitude in several different ways, like excessive sleeping, lethargy, malaise, overindulgence in fantasy or fiction, and also harmful use of substances. So we want to be real careful when Neptune's in retrograde, lifting the veil, because sometimes when the veil's lifted, we see things that are scary. We see things that we don't want to see. So my take, however, is that this double dose of heavy retrograde energy is actually going to be really, really quite nice, because the tough energies that you get with Neptune and Saturn when they reverse course, it's a lifting of the veil and you can take a deep breath. And that to me just feels like a really, really nice combination. Like imagine walking, I envision somebody taking a steep climb up a hill, and they finally get to this like plateau spot where they can check their equipment, refuel with food and water, and just grab an awe-inspiring glance wherever it is that they stop. So like if everything's in working order, you've done the work, you're feeling good, just grab an awe-inspiring glimpse right here. Take a deep breath, take in the view from beyond the veil. It really will be quite beautiful. Some of us may not have done the work. We might have to rest a bit longer. We might have to like go back down a little bit down that hill and start back over with a new plan. And that's okay, because that's all part of our learning. It's all part of the lessons we're here to take in and integrate and to move forward with. So Neptune's going to dissipate that mist, and that's usually associated with her seeing clearly. We're going to be able to flow deeply into the most loving and authentic space. This may also mean like leaving things, people, or ideas behind that don't actually like vibe highly with you. And it may amplify the beauty that you've already manifested. So how do you guys feel about that? That's my take on that retrograde. I'm going to put that article out tomorrow so you guys can read kind of the themes that I just talked about. This is just my rough draft. I thought I'd try it on y'all first. Um, yeah, so let me show y'all real quick how to find out where stuff's in your chart so that you can play along with this game. Um, if you have Prometheus, Capricorn, and everything, you probably already know your chart pretty well and you know what houses things are in. But if you don't and you want a free constellational chart, you can use any chart. Just look where, you know, oh gosh, look where Saturn and Neptune are right now. If you use the tropical chart and then use the house, it'll still be accurate for what I'm going to sort of read through for you, for the most part. Um, but if you want to do constellational, go here to my free chart calculator that Mastering the Zodiac gave me the code to embed into my website so I could get more people into this. Go here and generate a chart. And what you'll see is a chart very similar to what we were working with when we looked at my Venus return. This is a little more complicated because it comes from the software, but basically, I'm going to look in this space. Where are Neptune and Saturn right now? They're in my 10th house. Okay. Now, Dr. Walker says it's 12th house, and well, that's probably your natal. But if you look what house they're in right now, that's going to be the house that we pick for the houses I'm going to go through here in just a minute. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. You can also use it for where they are in your natal chart too, but I would use that secondary because the themes that have been going on with Neptune and Saturn right now, for me, for example, have been direct through my 10th house. Now they're going to go retrograde through my 10th house, and then they will go back direct again. Okay. And so we're getting the initiation, the integration, and sort of the, what's the last word? The resolution of it. So initiation, integration, resolution. All that's happening in my 10th house. Boy, do I feel that. So we're gonna go through this. If you guys go there and get your chart, you can find out where they are in your chart right now. All right, let's see. Maybe we'll put up a fun. Let's do this while we're in the solar system because we are cosmic creatures after all, right? Let's take the date back to where we are right now. Isn't this fun? Don't you feel like you can just sort of play with the solar system, turn the gears, put them wherever you want? So this is today. And then in about 2 days, all this energy is going to start. So we'll just zoom out here and we can take a look at Earth's perspective. Okay, so let's see here. If we have now you can separate these. If you have one planet in the 12th house, one planet in the 11th house, you can always use both of these readings. But if you've got this forward, backward, forward motion of Saturn and Neptune in your 12th house, this is a time of solitude for you. This is a time of this pre-ascendant energy. And so the Saturnian themes that come up for you as Saturn has been moving direct through your 12th house is going to be work that's done on a solitude level. It's genius level work, but you literally cannot have it out there because it's an internal process. You're working with spirit, and so that solitude time, that time for basically incubating whatever it is that you're creating, whatever it is you're about to birth, so to speak. Saturnian themes around that and Neptune themes around that. So spiritual, foggy illusions, reliability, integrity, all in this sort of pre-conceptual state of solitude. As those energies move into your first house, you will feel a birthing of energy of whatever it is that had been incubating. Moving on to the 11th house. So this is groups, this is collective, this is inspiration, this is friends, this is grandparents, this is adopted parents. So Saturn energy can sometimes be teacher. So teaching of the collective, Neptune, the spirituality of the collective. So as these move forward and backwards through your 11th house, you're going to be working with collective themes. You're going to have inspirations, innovations, inventions. You're going to be working with your friends. There might be some grandparent energy in there. Maybe they come back into your life. Maybe they leave your life. Sometimes Neptune can be the spiritual realm. So it could be communicating with those ancestors, grandparents, if they're already lost. Something like that could come through with that. Moving on to the 10th house. If you've got Saturn moving forward in your 10th house, so this is me, right? So Saturn moving forward and backward in the 10th house, Neptune moving forward and backward through the 10th house. This is the public image. This is the career. This is the life's work. This is the top of the mountain, the peak of your career energy. And Saturn is bringing a level of integrity, of expert level mastery to the spiritual abilities that are coming through. A lot of times 10th house energy matures a little bit later in life too. And I feel that coming up on my 50th birthday, there's just so many profound truths in this world that I had no idea. Like truth is literally stranger than fiction. And it's only coming into my life at this point. So yeah, 10th house energy, that's what I'm feeling. So I'll be taking a deep breath, and I will have some clearer vision as to the direction that I want to go and where my heart wants to lead me. Because for me, if you're living your life's purpose, it's connected to the heart, to the light inside of you as well. Moving on to the 9th house, which is higher wisdom, higher knowledge, institutions of universities, big corporations probably too, I would say, space travel, exploration, those sorts of energies is 9th house, distant journeys. And the reason I'm adding space in there is because of our modern cosmology, we have to look into space. And so are there others out there? I mean, I think there might be. And so how do we contact with them? Is there a way that we need to live? Is there a spiritual road that we need to follow in order to be at a vibrational level, in order to be quote unquote worthy to communicate with these beings? So that Saturn energy might be bringing in the practical integrity, reliable. It could be elderly energy, also wisdom from elders. Energy coming through the cosmic, perhaps in a practical way, like all of a sudden you're, preaching something that you never thought you'd be able to be preaching. It's sort of like that, that teacher in a group kind of energy. And then Neptune, of course, is like just anything goes kind of spiritually, as long as you follow like the basic common, guidelines, like love one another, love God, that kind of energy. So reworking of some of the spiritual aspects of your life in a big way, in a very practical way, in a way that's controllable. And step by step. So moving on to the 8th house, big transformation. So Saturn in 8th house, a lot of times when it's immature, and this is really where it's most powerful, because it's a problem, reaction, solution kind of energy. Like they're going to create a situation to get a reaction in order to have that exchange where they can provide the solution and create that flow of give and take. And sometimes that gets perturbed into victim perpetrator, need versus want, that kind of thing. So Saturn moving through the 8th house can have some of that effect where you might get triggered and have reactions, and then hence, manifest the reality you don't want. Neptune moving through there is like that Kundalini spiritual energy, the bright light inside of you flowing through all the chakras, bursting into the heart chakra, full of compassion, into the third eye and the crown. So yeah, so maybe that Saturn there's a responsibility that we're learning here as Saturn transits through the 8th house with that energy. It is so powerful. It can destroy, it can create. And when it's balanced and harmonized, it can give you a very nice flow of very inspirational, transformative energy. All right, 7th house. So this is relationships and partnerships. Saturn in the 7th house is very hard. This is there's a lot of projection energy with Saturn to begin with. Saturn often blames the outside world for his predicaments until he realizes, the consciousness wakes up and that he's done it to himself. So it's like a hall of mirrors for him. So it's the questions that you're asking your partners right now, associates, partners, lovers, that kind of thing. If you're asking them, are they happy? Then what you need to do is turn around and ask yourself if you're happy, because the questions you're asking them, you're asking for yourself. That's usually what happens when Saturn's transiting through that 7th house. If you're looking at the other and saying, are you happy? What do you need? Why are you doing that? Then it's time to stop doing that and look inward. That's really where you can harness a nice harmony with Saturn, a mature relationship, a give and take, and a boundary setting space. But Neptune moving through there can erase all boundaries, right? So work and love affairs, that kind of thing, that can happen. Business deals can turn into some friendships, so there's the boundaries are very muted here. But as it goes retrograde, those boundaries may become more clear. Okay. So that's seventh house. Let's see, sixth house. That is your house of service. It's also the house of servitude, the house of slavery, the house of your health. And I always ask people with a lot of sixth house placements, are you serving or are you in servitude? Because to be in service should light you up. It is the most wonderful thing you can do. It fills you with life-giving energy to be able to give and to sacrifice and to do things for the greater good if you're doing it in service. If you're doing it in servitude, then it drains you. You come home at the end of the day and all you can do is rip open a package for dinner and put your feet up and pass out. And that's no way to live. So if something's draining your energy, you might be in a servitude type of a dynamic that is seriously draining your energy. And Neptune can also very seriously drain your energy, plus with the lack of boundaries. So be very careful here. Pay very close attention to your body. Saturn should help you do that because the body's going to tell you when it needs to rest, when it needs to not be in a situation. You might feel something in your gut. You might feel pain in your gut when you're in a situation that's requiring you to be in slavery or in servitude. It might actually make you feel physically sick when you're in that situation. Pay attention to that. Where am I when that happens? What am I doing when I feel that way? And what needs to change either in my environment or within myself to harmonize that energy? So Neptune and Saturn through the sixth house could be very interesting. Through the fifth house is joy, it's children, it's romance. So it might play into our children energy. We might be watching our children grab some responsibility, but also maybe children might be into the spiritual questions. So you might be exploring that with your children. I know a lot of my clients and students have kids that are in that Neptune and Aquarius age, and that they question. They're very smart. They're very much into technology, and they absorb a lot of things that they don't even realize that they have inside of them. And when they begin questioning, and there's a wise and awakened adult around them, wow, what an opportunity to really open up a young mind and to let them know that it's okay, to have spiritual gifts and to be blessed with that. So we might be having conversations with our children around those topics, responsibility and spirituality. We might be falling in love with those topics with the heart. We might be taking a good hard look at ourself as well, because the fifth house is also self energy. All right. We doing okay, guys? You guys following me? Let's see. Fourth house is next. I like to go clockwise around the chart if you haven't noticed. You guys, that's why we're going backwards through the houses. So fourth house is it's the home, it's the house, it's mother, it's like the deep inner you, it's moon energy. And to have Saturn and Neptune forward, retrograde, and then back again through this fourth house means that there is some issue about the structure of your home or your family that might be being reworked. There was some fogginess or non-clarity around it, and with Neptune going retrograde, there will be clarity. And with Saturn going retrograde, you can take a deep breath and you know the actions you're going to need to take. So I feel like for a lot of people, this is going to be around their home. Let's see. There might be some mother energy there, like reworking the relationship with mother. There also might be some ancestral energies too. So those of you that are, attached to the homeland, there might be some spiritual energies coming through there. There might be some teacher energies coming through there. All right. Let's see. Third house. Hey, Kimberly. Thanks for coming. Third house is your mind, your communication, language, school, siblings, platonic relationships, short journeys, like your neighborhood. So Saturn may be construction energy in the local environment around you. There might be a lot of construction going on. Maybe either it'll start or it will stop when this retrograde inflection point comes. There could be a new skill that you're learning as well. Maybe you guys want to take my business and astrology course, business and financial astrology course. It really is wonderful, practical information. So learning a new skill, maybe a new language, perhaps. Okay. And then which way you want to go may not have been so clear, but with Neptune going retrograde at the same time, it's almost like you're going to get a spiritual download for what needs to be relearned or brought in right now. So third house forward, backward, and forward. Yeah, there's some new knowledge coming in here for us, both in a spiritual sense and a very practical sense. Third house. Second house, the house of the I have, the things we value, our stuff, the material world. Also very much connected into our self-worth circuit in our body and in our emotional state. So Saturn in the second house can be really tough moving through there because there's a feeling of constriction, like you feel like you don't have enough money sometimes, or you feel like you don't have enough resources, or maybe you just don't feel like you're good enough to do the thing that you want to do, and that's the heavy Saturn energy. But Saturn in the second house can be a manifester. Really, if you know what you need to do and you can take responsibility for those actions, it's always slow. I have Saturn in my second house, so there's hard work, but you're willing to do the work, especially if it's tapped into your soul's purpose. So this is another sort of like, how is it making you feel? Is whatever you're doing making you feel good about yourself? If it doesn't and it drains your energy, that's no good for you. If it makes you feel good, then you can make really good conscious decisions with Saturn energy in your second house, especially when it goes retrograde, because you can breathe a little and you're going to feel like there's a little bit more flow of money. So on either side of that retrograde point, which is coming on Saturday, we're going to feel really tight and then flush, or we're going to be really flush and then we're going to have to tighten down the resources. And then with Neptune there, it's just sort of a like, I don't really want to deal with the hard concepts around money, but that's just sort of, Neptune doesn't want to do that. Neptune just knows that the things are going to be there and doesn't really want to deal with the little details that are surrounding it. For Neptune, that's a really fuzzy, foggy place to be in Taurus, but it can be a really, really beautiful place too. Not Taurus, but second house. It can also be a really beautiful place too if it's tapped into that, like bringing that energy into matter in a very artistic way. So possibly able to make money through artistic endeavors, expressive endeavors. With the Neptune going retrograde, now you're going to be able to have a clearer vision on how to do that in a way that's much more in flow and in line with your spirit. And then last but not least, let's do the first house. So first house, this is an energy of the I am, right? So this is a self energy. This is reworking the self. When we talked about the 12th house, as bodies move from the 12th house to the first house, there's an incubation to the birth, right? There's a rebirth, there's a reemergence, that new growth under the soil popping up, and you see the tiny little green leaves. This is like first house energy. And so having it go forward and then backward and then forward, you're really reworking like who you are and who you present yourself to the world. I mean, having Neptune on your ascendant right now must be very, very, very confusing. Like, I'm not even sure that you could find this video if you wanted to, because it's like, all this input's coming at you and you have to discern what is self and what is not self. And with Neptune on the ascendant right now, very foggy time for you. But luckily you have Saturn there. Because Saturn can kind of ground you, and say, these are your responsibilities, my friend. This is who you are. This is what you need to do. This is how you must move forward. And so hopefully some grounding Saturn energy can kind of help you breathe a little bit and take a breath from all the amazing visions that you're getting and all the information that's coming at you. So, wow, I think that's it, you guys. Man, I went for a long time tonight. So yeah, if you guys need help with your charts, like I do readings, I do natal readings that are constellational. I also do the purpose and prosperity readings. These are a lot of fun. I did a couple of those today. Oh, I love them. I also do Venus readings with Venus forecasts, and also new baby readings. So if you have a new baby in the family, we can do like a little life path reading, and it's a recorded video that the parents get to keep. So I have that as well. Thank you all so much for joining me. Does anybody have anything they want to like chat about, ask me about? Any crazy like conjunctions or anything like that? Because I'm basically done presenting everything I wanted to share with you guys. See, no? Cool. Well, as always, it has been a pleasure. I really do enjoy doing the live. The energy is much better. I feel like I am more connected to what it is that I want to say to you. So you'll be seeing a lot more lives just in the next few weeks, though. I'm doing like every other day sort of thing. So, like tomorrow, I work 24, then I'm off for 24, then I work 24, then I'm off. So I do 3 of those. Then I'm off, and then I get a full day off, and then I do it again. So it's like 2 weeks in a row. It's like 72 hours both weeks. So I will be a little bit hard to follow live, but I might squeeze in a video recorded here or there if something comes up. I definitely want to get the Venus video out for her transit through Cancer, because that's all about the love of love. It really is a wonderful time. We of course have to talk about the new moon and the cycle coming up. Let's see what else. Yeah, and then of course all the classes that are coming. So we have a lot to do, guys. All right. Until the next time, namaste, my friends. I love you. Bye.